Well, good Saturday morning. I've not done any filming for nearly 2 weeks, mainly because there wasn't anything to film. But today you find me with some oyster shell, 5 kilos, and some media bags. And the plan is to put the oyster shell in the media bags and put it in the spacers in the box filter, and then the oyster shell will add as a pH and KH buffer for my pond, because my pond, being open to the elements, suffers with pH and KH swings due to the amount of rainwater that gets in. So without further ado, I'm going to stuff these media bags full of the oyster shell, and then get it into the box filter. I will try and film outside, but it is very, very windy today, so there may be some pretty bad wind noise when I do. Catch you in a bit. Right, so I've put oyster shell in the 5 media bags and stolen one of the wife's stockings, which she doesn't know yet because she's out, and put a load of oyster shell in that. I've got to shake something bad today. If the picture is shaking, I do apologise. That's it, I've stabilised it against my knee. So let's go outside and get it in the box filter. Right, hopefully you can see that apart from some floating debris that's come down the skimmer, the sponges are actually quite clean. I've not actually cleaned them yet. Some of you will be horrified by that, but they're not actually that dirty, because the skimmer taking its water from the surface doesn't draw a lot of muck, especially as at the minute the pond is crystal clear with no debris in. So what I plan to do is put 3 bags in the front compartment, get those brushes out, and then take one of the sponges out wholly and replacing that with the stocking bag and some of the other media bags. So I'll crack on with that and then get back to you. Well, interestingly, taking those front brushes out has massively improved the flow and dropped the level of the water in the box. They were obviously, there's the brushes, they were obviously restricting the outflow significantly, but it's got a much better draw in it now. I was only able to get 2 boxes of oyster shell in the front compartment, 2 media bags. So there's 3 media bags in there plus the stocking. Obviously the sponges, you can clean them with this compression device, but I'm not going to use that. When I come to clean them, I'm just going to take them out and rinse them off in some rainwater or some pond water, not obviously tap water. But probably going to get this rear brush out and give that a bit of a clean, because that catches all the big debris that comes down the skimmer. And as you can see, there's quite a few leaves collected on the covers. There's 1 or 2 that I've got underneath the covers, and they'll end up down the skimmer. But I tested the water temperature this morning, and the pond's running at a cracking 14 degrees. I mean, it got up to 17, 18 degrees here in King's Lynn yesterday. Fish were all on the top, but with me messing around by the pond side, they've dropped down to the bottom. You notice one just flashed then. So I need to keep an eye on that. That's probably because we've had so much rainwater in the week that I would imagine the pH and KH are probably quite low. I've got some bicarb of soda on order, but I'm hoping that with this oyster shell I rarely have to use it. But time will tell. In fact, I've made a bit of a mistake because I should have took a pH and KH reading before I put it in. So what I'll do is I'll get my test kit out quick and do a quick test, see where it is, before the oyster shells had much chance to make a difference. Back in a bit. So these are the test results which I just got. As you can see, the KH is high at 10. Oh right, as you've just seen from them results, bizarrely my KH is too high, and I just don't understand how that can be. I've not put any bicarb in for a while. I did do a 1,000 litre water change last weekend, and my KH out of the tap is around 15 or 16. But I'm surprised if it, well, I would be surprised with all the rain we've had that it dragged it up that high. But that's what the test results are saying, that my KH is 10. Well, not to worry. That probably explains why the fish are flashing a bit, and I'll just keep an eye on it over the next week or so. The good thing about a KH buffer is it will only buffer it to a certain level. It won't keep buffering it and buffering it up high. So it'll certainly help maintain a stable KH and pH. My pH was 7.2, so that's pretty much spot on where I want it. So, right, I will probably wind this video up here. Next week I might do a bit of videos on my tanks. Someone suggested doing some video on my fish tanks. I've got 4 of them, and I've just had 2 rather special fishy purchases to renew my interest in my tanks. So I've kind of renewed my tanks. I think you'll like the new fish, and I'll show you them next week, and maybe a little update on how the calcium or the oyster shell is performing. So take care out there with these uncertain times. Keep healthy, keep safe, and I'll catch you in the next one.